Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sprangboro Sessions, episode number 53. This is Jamie, aka Sprangboro, and TJ Otto checking in.
You are dumbfounded.
We are here to entertain you, show you,
Hey, back off with the pressure, okay?
we are here to make you laugh, cry, all at the same time. Which is actually a bad joke that I should probably not tell you, but I'm going to. Uh, this woman walks up to her, or this guy walks up to his girlfriend, and he's like, "Hey, I want you to tell me something that'll make me laugh and something that'll make me cry at the same time." She's like, "All right, well, your dick's bigger than your brother's." Anyways, no, in the last week, I've had like three people come up to me, in conversation, and just like, Jamie, have you ever thought about like trying to do like a comedy skit? I'm like, no, never really thought about it. The only funny I've ever been was looking, so,
I feel you.
yeah, hey, but we wear it well, So, TJ, how you doing today, bud?
Good, man. Good. Learned a lot of shit this week.
Yeah?
I went on I don't know, I went on a fucking deep dive info tour of YouTube. Just checking out all kinds of different stuff. Found a few interesting channels. Learned a bunch of interesting stuff. A lot of it useless. Hence why my coworker at work calls me Wiki. Just a bunch of useless information at the drop of a hat.
Wiki, like Wikipedia.
Like every time he brings something up and wants to talk about something, I'm like, "Oh yeah, did you know about this on that?" And he goes, "Fucking Jesus, dude!"
Like what?
I was like, "I just watched something
my
on that
thing.
a few weeks ago."
It's my thing. I'm sorry.
It
it's
is.
My
It's
thing.
wicked bad. It's like a disorder. I think should be getting government money for it or something. But yeah. No, how about you, man? Had a
Oh,
show?
oh yeah, dude. It's been awesome week.
Nice.
Got on, played some Titanfall 2 after the last podcast. We had discussed it for anyone that was paying attention. So I installed it on the PC that day. Steam had it on sale for like $7 or $8 that day. And I had $5 in my wallet. And so I ended up getting it for like $2 and some change.
His Steam wallet.
My Steam wallet, yeah.
Yeah,
Peter Cotton Balls.
yeah.
So I was happy because I got to play some Titanfall 2 on my computer. But just like everything else, it's frustrating because it's like you put all that time and effort into consoles and stuff like that, and then the information doesn't always transfer over.
Yeah.
And so I played for a couple days. It was just fun, just to just get on there and play. And then when we went to play, I also found out that it wasn't cross-platform, which was actually really disappointing. Be honest, you figure at this point in games that they would have got that figured out because they had talked about it in the past.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure you read Rabbit Holes, and they said that they're planning on getting it going here pretty soon. But
On Titanfall 2?
yeah, on Titanfall 2.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
thought they'd stopped all. I
No,
thought that's why
they're-
they hadn't done it, is because they'd stopped all production and stuff.
No,
on it,
no,
so.
they're still trying to get it. They're still trying to get it all
Oh, cool.
all worked out, I guess. And for anyone that was interested in the game this weekend that we're in right now, today's May 2nd, they had a free to play weekend on Steam, which is computer. It's just one for people that don't know what Steam is. It's like a game engine basically where you can go and you can buy games or play games or stuff like that. It's just like a platform, in between
It's a game. It's what's called a game launcher.
game
So
launcher. Okay.
yeah. So it's where you would launch all your games for. You go onto this Steam website and you put in your information, create an account, and then you download. They have the biggest library of video games available for PC.
For PC. And
And
again, there's
yeah.
free games. There's a lot of great free
Oh
games
yeah.
too for
Yeah, a
anyone
lot of indie games, a lot of small group creators making a lot of video games too. So it's pretty cool.
And they're all intertwined, so it's like if they have a game at a certain price, it's because the game is the same price everywhere. Because they can't charge more or less. Hello, my love.
I did get dressed.
Yes, you did. You want to sit and talk with TJ and I for a little while?
No.
No? Oh. I see I can put the headphones on if you want to hear them.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, you want to hear them? Okay. Let me mute this because I got to move the chips.
Yeah, you got it. We're gonna have a little podcast. Yes, and this is little Dare. Um,
Yes,
there we go.
I had bunny ears. That's correct. Olivia, say hello.
Hida.
Hi.
You can slide in a little bit closer if you want. Yes, I love the silliness. I guess it runs in the family.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Um, you're so funny. I love you, kid. You make me laugh. You guys see what I deal with on a day-to-day basis. That's why I'm the luckiest man in the world. So yeah, going back to the week that I had, played some Titanfall. Did play some Rocket League. That was really cool for anyone that anybody that gets on, checks out the streams and stuff on Twitch. Jimmy and I went to play the other night, and we were streaming 2v2s, and some random people had jumped on the actual stream and were talking with us, and then one guy ended up joining up and asked if we wanted to play 3v3 with him, so we did, and he was like he was good, and he was a much higher up player than what we're current rank at. But then we ended up picking up another guy. What?
I'm gonna be right back.
You can just wear them.
No, I'm gonna go get a chair.
Okay, well you can keep those on. You don't have. They're wireless, you know. Anyways, so I gave them to you. And you bring the chair over here, and I'll pick it up and put it in.
Okay.
You know what that means. That means I'm gonna have to give up this chair. That's fine. But yeah, so we ended up playing at Rocket League, like I said, the other night with a couple of guys, and it was a lot of fun. Like just getting on and playing with some people that they have not played with before or met. It was pretty cool. Hold on.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've played a few games with Ty a few nights ago. Oh, you took your headset off. You can't hear what I'm playing.
I can.
I know you can. No, I played a few games with Ty the other night.
Good.
We played like 8 or 9 games or something like that. It was a lot of fun. We had a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, he said he's been out mushroom hunting a lot, so he's been spending a lot of his spare time. To anyone that's wondering where Ty Bigger is today, he's doing his thing, man. Living well, I imagine. And I've had a couple people message me here in the last so long, and they've been asking me if Jerry's going to be making an appearance anytime. Anybody that knows Jerry, or has gotten to know him through the podcast and whatever.
I have.
Jerry's he's awesome. He's a hardworking guy. He's a personal trainer. Right now, he messaged me today to let me know that he wouldn't be on, and the reason being he's got to help his brother out, doing a lot of stuff around the house and things, because his niece, her name is Jamie. She needs to have a stem cell transplant. So he's been helping the family and his family, and trying to help out his brother, take care of some things around the house and whatnot. He said he did want me to let you guys know that he's still out there and still thinks about everybody wanting to say hello. They did start a Facebook page. I will reconvene with them later on it and make sure that it's okay that I post it. For anyone that wants to, offer support, kind words. It's not financial or anything that I, at this time, to my knowledge, but, just thinking of you, praying for you, So I'm really excited to. He had sent me an invite to it, so I'm getting really excited, and I'm gonna I'm gonna try and do something with the band so we can see what we can do to help. Because it's one of our own. And yeah, so I just want to say, if you ever get to hear this one day, Jamie, we're all praying for you. We're all thinking of you. Your Uncle Jerry's really a great friend, and I imagine that that you already know that. So we're praying for you, and if we can do anything to help, make the day seem a little brighter. We're here for you, kid. Yeah. So, did you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, I wish you all the best. We'll do it. I'm going to contact him a little bit. I didn't have any idea. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. So, if anyone wants to reach out to us, as in TJ or myself, to see if there's anything that they can do. You can email the podcast, which is Sprangboro at hotmail.com, which is on the Twitch page. You can also reach out to TJ or I. You guys by now know how to find us. So, yeah, I think it's we're all. I know when he was telling me about it, it makes you get perspective. It always does, and it makes you just think about other people, and which also in a week is gonna be Mother's Day, so we all think about someone else. Generally, our mothers. TJ and my mother both are no longer here with us. It's still their day always, but there's a lot of great mothers out there that that. By the time we do this next podcast, it'll be we'll probably do it because it's not Mother's Day. We might not. So if by chance you guys don't see anything next week, that's why. It's because it's Mother's Day and we're gonna take the day to reflect. But right now, I'm planning on being a part of it and doing it. Personally. So, so to all the mothers out there, next weekend, just in case, happy Mother's Day to you. I hope your day is blissful. I hope you spent with the ones you love, and I hope you get a lot of great attention that you deserve. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is not just because it's the right thing to do, but because this little girl here, daddy's girl, she has a mom, and her mom happens to be my wife, and she's wonderful. And what's her name? Amber, that's right. Yeah. Awkward. But I'm really excited because I had told Olivia, I was really excited. I got on the line one day. I'm trying to be serious for a second. All right, that moment's over. Go ahead and get back to it. Go ahead. All right, perfect. So
I can't keep it still.
That's because Daddy's too tall. Anyways.
No, because I'm laughing.
So for Mother's Day, I thought it would be really nice. I saw this. They had this like real fancy rack, dish rack thing that goes over top of the sink. It has like a bunch of little things, hooks and stuff to hang like pots and pans or, little things on there that you want to. Yes. And Olivia gave it the thumbs up, so Dad went ahead and bought it. And I am terrible at keeping secrets, so yeah, I know you know. So I told Amber when it came in, I'm like, hey, here's your Mother's Day present. She looks at it and she's like, what's she's like, what's he saying? Did Ty just text you?
Yeah. I'm messaging him right now. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, he was wanting to do it later today. So he was.
I didn't realize that.
Near did I. He didn't say anything.
Go ahead. I'm texting him right now.
Thank you. Thank you. Either way, make sure you tell him Rocket League is going to be happening. Anyways. Minecraft. Yes, like the shirt. Do you remember? You remember Scott? Learn, my buddy Scott. One was on here.
Yeah, I watch him every now and then when he does karaoke.
Yes. This shirt came from them to Olivia because his girls, they outgrew it. And every time she wears that shirt, I always think of my buddy Scott. But yeah, so I show back to the story I was telling you. So I was excited, and I showed this rack thing to Amber, you know, and who also has a nice rack. Anyways, but she was like, just looks at it. She's like, well, it's not very practical. I won't use it. I'm like, it's a gift. She's like, I know. And I'm like, well, I'll just send it back. So then I walked outside, went out to the garage to collect myself. You know, I went out there because my twin brother's been staying. So I've been spending a lot of time out there talking with him and spending time with him. And so, yeah, so I send this thing back to Amazon or whatever. And then I'm thinking, okay, your arm's going to be tired. You want me to finish? Because this is like where we're getting into the good stuff.
You know, Daddy tells long stories.
Correct. Yes. But they're great stories. Anyways, she's like, well,
the face was like, yeah, you know.
Sure.
Yeah. But, yeah, well, that's the thing about podcasting is I have all the time in the world that I want. Because it's my story. But, yeah, so I was thinking about what to get my wife. And she bought one of them Cricut makers. I believe I brought up on the cast before that she got it. Awesome for arts and crafts, like for anyone that's really looking for something really awesome to do. Like, for prime example. So, all right, what?
She also made a flower, and then she gave it to me.
She gave you a flower.
Yay.
Now you were at Cece's baby shower.
Chelsea's.
Well, Chelsea, yes, but you used to call her Cece, whatever.
I don't do it anymore.
Please don't make this awkward. Just get to the point of the story.
Mm-hmm.
While you were at the baby shower, what did Mommy make for the baby shower?
She made these sanitizers that said, "Oh, baby," and it had a dinosaur on it.
Yeah, she took little sanitizer bottles and put a little dinosaur on them and said, "Oh, baby."
I have one in my room.
And
I have one in my room.
yeah, Olivia has one in her room. I have one around here somewhere, I think.
Also good. I always take this one also to school.
Oh, yeah, keep it with you at school. It's a great idea. So, again, you can make lots of crafts and things. So, you can also get the hate transfer vinyl, and you could make these. So,
these.
So this right here was a design that I made for South of 90. It was the first design I had ever made. I kind of slapped it together. When I first originally made it, if you look at it, I know it's not mirrored, but whatever. So it's got
it's fine here. Yeah.
So it's got the square in the middle. And what the square does is because I had an anchor, like a boat anchor, and that stem was where the boat anchor went straight down. So that's why I transparented the color or inverted the color on that because I thought it would make it look cool. But the anchor itself that I found, because of, you know, when your whole life revolves, it seems like everything you want to do revolves around copywriting, whether it's video or sound or art, you know, you pay attention to those things. So I was trying to find free clip art, and you just, you know, they're not the same. But
get something.
What?
I need to go get something.
Okay. Go get
It's in
something.
my room.
All right, my love. Those will work up there.
Okay.
But yeah, so I bought Amber. It's called the Easy Press 2. It's a, it's like a big giant heater mat thing. I bought her the mat, and then it's like an iron, a huge iron for T-shirts.
Okay.
So it's 12 inches by 10 inches. The girl that's been doing a great job with making our T-shirts. Big thank you to you, Jade. She's been doing awesome, and we're gonna have her continue to do the work for the band because, we're supporting her business. She takes care of us like. When we need shirts, she gets them done in a few days. We don't have to wait for months like we used to have to with Creative Imprints.
Oh, nice.
Now, Creative Imprints, whether they're based out of like Meadville and Edinburgh and all them, I probably shouldn't even say these things on the air, but I don't give a shit. So, I had called and asked them at a time about if we had an order in. And so they told me they couldn't give me that information, but they called one of the guys and the other guy in the band that actually had the order in his name. And they called him to let him know that I was inquiring about it. And I'm like, I wasn't trying to buy T-shirts. I wasn't trying to buy anything. I just wondered if we had an order placed. And they it made it kind of like they were covering the tracks, and I understand that. Mm-hmm. But I'm also in the band. So I was just I'm like, okay. So then he, of course, he called me up and he was all butthurt because I called. And he's like, why don't you ask me? I'm like, well, I got tired of waiting. You never would answer me. So I called them. It was this whole bunch of unnecessary drama at the time.
Yeah.
But moral of the story is when we order our T-shirts through Jade, we get them right off the bat. Nice. She busted out like 3 dozen of them in a week or something for us, which is awesome.
Oh wow!
I'm gonna have you show that in a second. So I want to make sweatshirts, for the band. I want to make hats and things like that. I think it'd be really cool. Olivia went ahead and grabs a hand sanitizer here
and my phone
and her phone, just because that's important.
The money's
so
not
you
in
want
it, though.
You want to show him the
our baby.
Oh baby.
Nice.
It's awesome, and she you can make all that stuff. So I was super excited because of the T-shirt press. So I, of course, told my wife about it. I'm like, yeah. So I got you the Easy Press and everything. She's like, good. I'm like, yeah. Well, it won't be here till Monday. She's like, oh. Because I told her on Thursday, Wednesday.
No, that's still before Mother's Day.
Yeah, so I also bought some blank T-shirts and some, transfer vinyl for her to be able to get started and get trying on it. Yes, I am selfish, and yes, I want to be able to get T-shirts for the band and stuff, but I also make a bunch of little dumb sayings and things, and I think it would be fun to actually sit down and write cool little things on T-shirts, and then I can make them up, and then she could make them, and then we could sell them for online. Or whatever. So super excited.
Awesome.
I could have gotten upset. Had my feelings really hurt when she told me that she didn't want it. I come back inside that day and she's like, I'm real sorry. I'm like, no, I'm glad you told me. I'll just ship it back and we'll get you something, more practical. Because we try to do that. She got me one year for Father's Day. She got me a grill. And every, she always does so. She always does great at those gift ideas. Me, I'm terrible at it. Here's a pen. Gently used. Only twice today at work. So that's pretty exciting for we'll be able to get T-shirts. And another reason I brought that up is because what else have I wanted to make T-shirts for? That's right.
Yep.
This podcast. Right, y'all. So we'll be able to make... in the near future, we'll be able to make T-shirts, and I will be able to, get that information and all that together. TJ and I'll let you guys know how to go about getting them and things like that when we're ready, because it will happen. It is going to happen. It's he's still waiting for his bracelets, and they've been in my car in his mug in the box ready to ship. I just always forget to go to the.
Totally forgot about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I got the shit in my car, and I don't think about it until last night when I was like, wow, I think I might have smashed that box. I'm like, damn, that ain't no good. So I do got to ship that. In fact, I think I have your address still handy, but I will have you just text it to me again whenever you get a chance, just so I can have it right there and access it. What's that?
I'm gonna play some Adopt Me.
What, on your phone?
Yeah.
Are you going to turn the volume off?
Yeah.
Okay. Or do you want Daddy's plugged in headphones so you can listen to it?
I listen to that too.
Okay. Well, whatever makes you happy, kid, makes me happy. So, yes, I did play a show last night, TJ. That was awesome. We played with Word. Those guys they're so great. I'm real proud of them. They put on a great show. They have amazing sound equipment. They have great stage lights. The guy behind, that does all the sound and all that stuff, Jason. He's phenomenal. He's a bass player, and it's really nice as a bass player to be able to be at a show and watch other people play and find inspiration, and he every time I watch that guy play, I'm just like, wow, like I'm like, all right, well, that's a friendly reminder of why we grind, but yeah, so a big thanks to those guys and Word for hanging out with us last night. Thanks, Jason, for running sound. I know I'm going all kinds of places right now, but that's what I do. So if people can't keep up, they can always rewind it and hear, back.
Pause it, rewind.
Correct. So, yes. So, Jason, he suggested a band for me to check out. I don't. Yeah. I had never heard of them, so I'm gonna let you know, or anybody else. I'm gonna call it today my my song for the day. It's from the band Umphreys, Umphrys McGee, Umphreys McGee, and the song that I checked out first that he suggested was called Puppet Strings. Because he's like, oh, the bass player is so good and everything. So I checked it out. And I think you'd like it, TJ. You should really check them out.
Cool. I got it right here on YouTube.
I also have wanted to share with you guys. Olivia, you're good. Thank you. Now you're better. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, for anyone that can see, this is my current bass rig. Even though I got away from using amps and stuff and I was just using pedals for a while. On top, I have I told you guys about it in the past, but that is a TC Electronic 250. It's a BH 250, which obviously means bass head for anyone that doesn't know the lingo. Then on top there, it's got where you see the two speakers there side by side. Those are two 10-inch Hartkey XL 210s. They're very awesome. And then underneath, I just got this bad boy yesterday. That is a Crate 15-inch bass cabinet. And so the guy that I bought that from, I also bought that from, because he collects equipment and resells them online and stuff, which is great, because he does the eBay and stuff. So it's cool because if you need anything, it's nice to have those friends. You can be like, hey man, this is what I'm looking for. Well, you got anything laying around? And he's like, I got you, bro. He's also the guy that calls me and says, is Jamie there? Yeah, anyways. Dan Donch, huge shout out to you, bud. But he also has a 410 cabinet. It's like those, only bigger. Mm-hmm. And yes, before anyone says it, I know I already have a 410 cabinet. So what? Anyway, the other cabinet, it's a carbon 410. And, man, I'll tell you what, when I had to carry that across the field at Crawford County Fair 2 years ago, I had to put casters on it. Well, first, I broke the handles on it because it's so heavy and the handles were like, not for like professional gear. For professional gear, you'd figure it'd be a lot tighter and a lot.
They're not meant to carry across fields. They're meant to carry out of the back of your vehicle.
Well, that one was meant to be carried with. That one was meant to be carried with two handles, and I was carrying it with one. This is before we played that show. No, you look cute like the crown.
I'm the queen.
Yes, you are the queen.
Of you.
That's right. Daddy's just a servant. We established that a long time ago.
Yep.
Good for you. Only because I allow it to happen. Anyways, but that's neither here nor there. But I broke the first handle carrying it downstairs when we were playing a show, and then I broke the second handle doing a benefit show for our guitar player's dad, and I was carrying it in because I only had one handle at that point. Busted it off. I'm like, shit. So I ended up having to drill it out a little, put big, like, 2 bolts on each side with, like, huge washers and everything to keep the handle from popping off. But the thing is so massive and so heavy compared to, older gear. It's a little lighter, but I'm 38. Yeah, not 28. So my back, I just don't work like it used to. So I don't want to have to lug this stuff around. Just like my bass amp, I told you the reason why I stepped down and got something that size is because that little guy right there is the size of basically a router, and it weighs 4 pounds. My other bass amp that I have in storage, which is out in the garage, it is 49.5 pounds without the case, without wires, without the other things, anything. It just itself is 50 pounds. So, that doesn't sound bad if you're just playing a gig and you're just a bass player that has to bring that. But I'm also bringing all the PA sound equipment, the lights, and all that stuff when we play. And we're running our own sound. So I don't want to take up all that room and stuff and carry it. But those other 410s that I'm looking at, those are going to be, if they're lighter than my Carvins, I'm just going to buy them. Because it's the matching set for the one that I have. And then I will have this big bad boy, the 210s, the 410s, and the 15 for when I go to play fairs and big shows again.
Nice.
Maybe. It's going to happen. People are like, oh, it's a far distance. It ain't that far away, man. People are, doing it every day.
I don't know. This is only 2 weeks.
Well... Yeah, it's just wild.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see how COVID handles everything and treats us all. So super excited just about the new amp and the new cabinet, because now it provides a much fuller tone for my sound, and I'm actually very excited to let our audience know that we have copyrighted a few of our songs.
Nice.
So we will be able to play them on the podcast from time to time. One of them actually happens to be... How's this go, Olivia? Look, because it's copyrighted now. You ready, TJ?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to do the beginning. It was a friendly night on a Friday night with nowhere else to be, sitting around the campfire, everyone else but me. Thought of you and I, hell nah, that can happen again. Cause a text from you said we were through, and you just want to be friends.
Friends.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that was just a little goofy version of Gone Girl, but that song will be available on streaming platforms very soon. We just shipped off one of our brand new songs called Life Today. We recorded last weekend. I believe I told you guys about it on Sunday, but we did record Life Today, and we did re-record one of our songs called Till the End. We have a whole CD basically right now that we have pretty much ready to go, that we just have to sit down and finish recording and getting everything fine-tuned. But those couple that were close, we shipped them off to a company down in Nashville that are going to remix and remaster them professionally, so that way, we can do it on our own, and I know it would be great, but
yeah,
you might as well just ship it to the pros and let them do it, especially when you're getting to that point.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
That's awesome.
Like I said,
really cool.
It's been crazy. It's been a crazy, but it's been a great week for me, man. I was very excited to show you the cabinet, because that thing, dude, it's gonna sound so great. I woke up this morning feeling, just feeling a little rough Lots of chocolate milk last night and
Yeah.
cookies, you know. Um, and when I woke up, I was like, oh God, I got to unload my car. But I'm excited to unload my car so I can hook up my amp with all the speakers and hear it. And yeah, it sounds good. Olivia, didn't you agree?
Huh?
Did my bass rig sound good today?
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought so too.
It was just loud.
It was just loud, yeah. And I only had it barely on.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
And
Sounds
actually,
wicked cool.
so I've told you about Center Down. That was a band I was in
Hmm.
years, but like back in probably like 2007 maybe. Um, it was really cool because things didn't necessarily work out at the end of the band. You know, they just happen that way sometimes, and you know, you look back at it and you kind of, you know, and I'm not saying just me with this situation. I'm just saying people in general. I
Yeah.
feel like we are programmed to look back at those things and be kind of like, it kind of tarnishes it in a way because you're like, oh well, this didn't work out. And then I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh my God, that was like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Like it holds no value to me being a certain way about anything out of my control at the time. So, you know, one of the guys in the band reached out to me and he asked me if I could, you know, burn him a copy of this, if I could burn him a copy of the CD. And my initial reaction was kind of like, well, why don't you have one? Like, you know, I didn't realize that because I was, you know, because I took care of my CDs and I took care of my music and stuff. Why should I do that? You know, and then of course the more mature, older version of me says, well, not everybody thinks like that. Not everybody is that way, and you know, so I messaged him back, and I'm like, yeah, I got you, man. Like, because I'm proud of it. You know, I wasn't good enough then, you know, but I gave it my all, and I felt very proud of it. I felt we were.
Well, you know what it does is that CD is logs your progression and your growth in music.
True,
So it's
absolutely.
a time. It's a recorded time of something you look back and go, okay, that's where I was then, and this is where I'm at now.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Oh,
it's kind of a
absolutely.
useful thing to have. You know, that's really cool.
And I was excited because you know, I got to open up my internet browser. I just don't know
Oh, you're
what
good.
screen it's going to pop up on.
Mhm.
Because I'm going to send you the tracks.
Okay.
But yeah, so I was thinking about like all the hard work that we had all did at the time, and so of course I told him, I'm like, yeah, of course I got it, man, and I want him to have it because I was very proud of him and you know what all he did in it, and we had all done together. So yeah, I felt really good that I'm going to be able to provide that for him because there's going to come a time where I'm going to have to be like, hey TJ, you got some of the old songs. So yeah, paying it forward.
Yeah, although, I'm gonna get some more memory.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
must have a lot
I'm
of
gonna give
porn
it
on
a-
that thing.
I gotta get a hard drive. Yeah, well, you know, if what is it?
I cannot confirm nor deny.
Yeah,
Is it still the auto one?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I,
Yeah, no, it's well, because I have like, what do I have now for files? Plus, I've been these videos.
oh,
that
videos
I
take
make.
so
I've
much
been
space.
I've been doing the 1080p, so it takes even more. It's like two or 3 gigabytes per episode.
Oh wow. Yeah, I don't miss having all that stuff down here. Now I upload things and I delete them like later.
Well, I think eventually these some of these are going to have to be deleted. Yeah, like yeah, they're on average about.
3 gigs, 4 gigs.
Well, it depends. If we do it's about an hour a gig.
Oh, okay.
You figure it in 1080p.
Oh yeah,
So,
well yeah, 1080p. Yeah, oh yeah. You probably
I just want them to be as
crystal clear as
clear,
possible.
yeah, as clear as
Yeah,
possible. You know, it's like you'll get the audio and the video fairly good. You know,
man.
but yeah, I mean, some of the ones when we go like 2.5, 3 hours, just like 3 gig. So
Yes, this is fantastic here. My stuff. I'm just glad it's still working because right now I'm doing too much. Whatever. I'll just leave it alone for now. But yeah, have you learned any cool tricks recently with with the audio editing and stuff? Because I know you've been really into it for a while.
not really. I mean, I haven't really dug deep into much of the other stuff. Like I started to do it, but I want to do a skill share course for some stuff. So I'm looking into the right time when I know I'm gonna have like a good week of nothing going on that I can jump because I'm gonna kind of do it cheesy. I'm gonna jump on a free trial and because YouTubers, they all have these free, use my code, you get a free week. So I'm waiting for the right time where it clicks, where I have a full week that I can just dive in every morning or every night after work, and really get as much out of that. Because you'll get like a free week, you can watch as many videos as you want on Skillshare. So I want to try and wait till those two things kind of, the Venn diagram where they both overlap perfectly. So just kind of biding my time right now because it's not really I have basics enough that I'm just using video editor, but I want to do the DaVinci. I want to use the DaVinci program eventually and switch out of using just regular video editor so I can do more. So I can like edit out like any silent, like with the headphones. I can cut down that. I mean, I could probably do it in video editor if I started diving in deep. But with DaVinci
It
editor,
just makes it
it's
easy.
it's gonna be a lot easier to do once I know how to use the program to edit out those little dead spaces. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm just like I said, abiding my time. I have a week and the motivation to kind of dig deep into it.
I understand that.
But I've just been like this week. I think I've learned. Like this is the notes I made this week for the podcast, and I was gonna put up a list on the Facebook page, like a topics you want me to go into, like a deep dive, like a list, and say, okay, pick one out of these 4 things that I learned this week that you guys would be interested in learning more about. And this is the stuff that I learned. This is how all over the place I was this week. The first thing I have in my podcast 53 notes is McDonald's ice cream machine. Second one is
always
Ethereum.
broken.
Always broken, yeah. The Ethereum blockchain. Well, it's an interesting story why it's always broken. It's the one I kind of want to touch on today. Ethereum blockchain power consumption. That's like for Bitcoin and all that stuff. It's what the blockchain is, what it's all based on and how it works. So if that's a really, really interesting one, and one that I need to like really review before I try to go deep into it, because it takes it's a lot of technical stuff to it. But I learned about that and about how the power consumption of that is a huge drain on the Earth's resources. Janet Jackson Nipplegate. Some interesting stuff about that I learned about and didn't really think about when it was going on. I don't know if anybody listening remembers when, Justin Timberlake, Janet Jackson, Nelly, they had like 10, they had like 6 or I think it was like 6 musical superstars at the Super Bowl halftime show, and Justin Timberlake had ripped the protection bra cover off of Janet Jackson's outfit.
Yeah, the wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah, the wardrobe malfunction.
It was definitely not pre-planned at all.
No. So, well, there's an interesting thing there's a lot of story in there that wasn't covered, that I learned about. A new thing that's coming out that just is actually pretty pertinent to today too is something about the BMW may start charging a subscription fee for heated seats. There's an interesting thing that's a kind of a reasoning why they would do something like that, and it goes down to resources as well. I learned about the Meridian line, the 180-degree, the international date line, how Google had it wrong on Google Maps, and why it was created and what it's for, and that it hasn't been a consistent straight line. Like it moves depending on nations and where they want to be on which side of that line. And for anybody who doesn't know what the Meridian International Date Line is, it's where on the globe the day turns from one day to the next. So where Monday turns to Tuesday, there's a clear line on where that is. So I also learned about the Earl of Sandwich, which I kind of already knew about anyway, but it was kind of an interesting little thing that he actually did make the first sandwich, but it's kind of funny how he did. Quick TLDR is that he made it because he was an excessive gambler. He was an impulsive gambler, and he didn't want to stop gambling at a table one day. And when his servants brought him his food, he took the meats, put them in between two pieces of bread, and ate it because he didn't want to stop playing. So, so that's how the sandwich came about, more or less. So these fights between, over where the sandwich got its name from, that's where it got its name from. Lost Soul Aside, that's a game that's going to be coming out soon that I'm kind of very interested in. It's kind of between Final Fantasy. It's like Final Fantasy 15 and the hell's it called? Devil May Cry had a baby. It looks beautiful. And the chicken shortage that's now in effect.
What about the projected gasoline shortage?
Oh, I didn't even get into that yet. But yeah, so well, I mean, gas here is almost $3 a gallon for regular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yesterday. I think it was yesterday when I got gas, or the day before. It was $2.87 or $2.80. Yeah.
$3.09.
Crazy. Crazy.
$3.09 here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So they're saying it's not the actual gas that they're gonna have a shortage of. It's they don't have enough trucks to do, and like just everything because of COVID. Because now with summer coming and things like that, people are going to be going out and doing more vacations and things because now they're being able to.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're already coming here.
Oh, I bet. Yes. So I am curious to hear about the Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction.
Well, the thing that was interesting about it is that Justin Timberlake, and I didn't even think about this, he got no flack for what happened. You know what I mean? Like, he was the one that pulled off her cap, her bra, and he was never once mentioned as, it was projected like it was her fault, like it was her that did it. And they think it was more of a smear campaign by the NFL and everything to try to get back at her for doing that, because it wasn't part of the performance. It wasn't supposed to be in the supposedly in the initial performance. And then last minute it was changed. Her and Justin, I guess, or somebody had talked about it, and but Justin, the interesting fact about it is that Justin Timberlake, like Janet Jackson, pretty much almost all but disappeared after that incident. Like, she did her rounds on the TV, on the TV networks with like not Johnny Carson, David Letterman, and all them, and it was obviously joked about and brought up and stuff, made her obviously feel real uncomfortable. I didn't really see any of that back then, and I didn't really think anything about it. But if you really start looking at all the newspapers, and all the articles that were written, Justin Timberlake isn't brought up in any of them, or very little he's brought up in any of them. It's all the wording is all made to make it sound like she had gone up there and ripped off the covering to expose herself. It was kind of disturbing if you watch the video of it, she wasn't anywhere. It was Justin that reached over and pulled the cover off. So it's kind of disturbing to see like how the media as a whole gravitated towards blaming Janet for it instead, which basically, I mean, didn't ruin her career. I mean, but when you think about it, just after that, how little she was actually in the spotlight, I think that had a big thing to do with it.
Well, to be fair, she was also not really in the spotlight much going into that.
No, not as much, but she'd still put out at least a couple albums before that. That's why she was at the Super Bowl.
But she was, I remember she wasn't doing the whole crazy lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we were definitely younger. It'd been some years now.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I remember watching it, and Justin, he pulled it off. Like, there's no anyone that says that she did it is just foolish. Like the video clearly shows that that he did that. The thing about it was always why was it even a thing? Like why did they have themselves in a situation that could happen? You know what I mean? Like that's what I never understood. Publicity maybe.
What she said is there was supposed to be a bra underneath or something, and the lacing came off of it underneath. But I don't know. It just didn't. I don't know. I think it was a publicity stunt that just went wrong, and Justin kind of lucked out because he was almost not mentioned at all. I think a couple publications mentioned him. But everybody else was kind of like, "Oh, she exposed herself to poor Justin," and just it was kind of funny to go back and look at it and see, holy, the projected dismay at what happened was all on her, and it's just when you watch the video, you're like, really, like. Because back then you didn't really see, you know what I mean? Like
social media wasn't like it is now.
YouTube was created because of that. That was the other interesting thing. That's what got me to look into it is that the YouTube creator, I forget his name now, the guy who started YouTube, actually created YouTube because there was such a high demand of people looking for that video. When YouTube came out, it was the highest. It was the most sought after video. He said that was the reason. That was direct quote from him. He said that was the reason that I created YouTube, was because there was this group of people that were looking for this video, and it found that was the thing to do. So
wow,
if it wasn't for that, YouTube might not have been around at that current time. Probably might have been a ways down the road before it was ever something like it was ever created.
That's an awesome part of the story that that something came like that out of it.
Yeah.
That was like MySpace. MySpace was made by a guy whose brother was in a band or something, and they tried to make a community to where all the bands could all have a place to talk, and they could post their shows and things like that.
Yeah.
So MySpace was created for bands, to my understanding.
Yeah, and actually it's gotten back to that because it got away from that for a while, but now it's like a huge music hub. Or at least when I go on there, that's on there.
I haven't been on there, and
I looked on there about a year ago, I think.
Yeah, I haven't been on there in
I was curious.
I don't even remember what my stuff was. Yeah.
See the top 8. I liked it. I mean, you could do HTML on your homepage, change your homepage to whatever you wanted. You know what I mean? Like,
I loved it, dude. I spent all my time making custom those little bars with like all the buttons on it, the layouts or whatever. We used to spend all kinds of time, make them for the
Oh
band,
yeah.
and put like our band logo on it, and then make it, they were all clickable and stuff. Yeah, that was fun. And then all
Oh
of a
yeah,
sudden,
dude.
it just, I don't know, everything just kind of switched to Facebook, which
Yeah, well,
Facebook was the corny one, at the time.
Facebook. I think the reason it took off and they were smart about it is you couldn't just go in and create a Facebook.
Well, yeah, at the
You had to
beginning,
be You had to
invited.
be invited. Same with Google Gmail. You couldn't get a Gmail account just by going in and creating one. You had to be invited to Gmail. Uh, this is way, 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 way back. It's a proven way to start something. Like you can't just go and and create it. You know what I mean? Like it's such a good way of being like, well, hey, can you invite me? I want to see what this is all about. Um, I think it's a friggin' ingenious way to get something started like that.
Hmm. Yeah, because then people, might have taken more pride in it because they actually had to do something to get it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, hey, I knew somebody that invited me. Maybe I'll invite you, or I might invite them. Like, yeah, it's pretty friggin' sweet. A pretty sweet idea. Um, yeah, the other thing I learned about the thing that I found interesting was we all know how McDonald's ice cream machines are always broken. Like all the time when you go in there, they're not working. It might be days that they're not working. Um, and there's a pretty deep story. The not so deep story of it is that these machines are made by, and I can attest to this. I used to manage at a McDonald's. They're made by a company called Taylor. And it's a pretty big company, makes all kinds of stuff, and they make them for Wendy's, they make them for Kroger's, they make them for all kinds of different fast food chains. When none of these chains have this issue, mainly because they're not the only distributor for those chains. McDonald's has been around in the very beginning with Taylor, and Taylor and McDonald's have a very, very close relationship. They are one of two. There's only one machine in the Taylor lineup that McDonald's is franchises are allowed to purchase. Like their grills, uh, their fryers, all those other equipment. They have like a few that the franchisee can order, so they can go, okay, I don't really want the really expensive grill. I'll get the cheaper grill or whatever from this company. Um, so they have a few options, but this is the only piece of equipment in the franchise agreement that they have no control over what they buy. The only ice cream machine they can get is a specific model from Taylor. Now, the interesting thing about it is that Taylor's business gets 25. And this is on record in their online. Their 25% of their business is their service and repairs department. That's a huge chunk. A quarter of their business is just on service and repairs. If you look at like their videos and their stuff that they when they try to sell, like their sales pitches, it's all about their repair services. It's how it says, this is Gary. He works in our service department. We have the best service department out there. Da, 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 da. And it's all about that. It's not about their equipment. It's not about their long line of we've been around for a long, long time, early 1900s or whatever. It's all about their service and their repair service and how quickly they can turn around repairs and all that. So the thing with this particular machine is that it's not user friendly to the people working at the McDonald's. So there's like certain codes that'll come up, like when there's an error code, it says like frozen, locked out, because they'll put it into when you end your shift, you would put the machine into a heat cycle, and what it does is it heats up the ice cream mixture in the machine up over a certain temperature, and then it cools it back down. And that's to kill off any bacteria that's in there to keep it safe, serve safe and all that stuff. The problem is that when they come back in the morning, a lot of times they'll get an error message saying something like heat sequence failure or something like that, but it won't tell them how or why or where the problem was. So a lot of times they'll come in and they'll redo the heat thing. It takes 4 hours to do this heat treatment. Okay. So in the morning, it's not that big of a deal. But if you go and you do it, you have to do it a couple of times because you keep getting that failure because it's not telling you what's wrong. So you're not fixing any problem. You're just redoing. You're just redoing it. And the McDonald's people are not technicians, so they don't know what the codes mean. They don't have a book with the service codes and error codes mean. And it's specifically designed this way. It's designed so that you call the service tech. Now, the service tech has to come out of service. The reason being is that a service call can cost anywhere from, well, it's like $150 for the drive out to them in the first 30 minutes. Then it's like $400 every additional hour that he's there to service this machine. Now, there's 2 books. There's a service manual book for the service technician, which gives them all this other information on what those codes mean and how to fix it. So it can be something as simple as they filled the hopper up too much, meaning they put too much. They didn't let it drain down enough and use enough of the ice cream mixture, and then they put a full bag in, and now it's up too high, so it's not heating all the way through correctly when they does the heat cycle, which would tell it that there's an error and that they can't serve this ice cream. But because there's no code on there to tell them that, they have no idea. Bye. Have a good one. She's like, TJ's boring as hell. I'm out of here. Trying to tell you why there's no ice cream, kid.
TJ said he'll see you later, kid.
Yeah, okay.
So, am I the only one that finds this interesting? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm 44. And I was deprived of so much McDonald's ice cream as a kid.
No, it's just because kids these days, they're normal.
Can't appreciate good stories.
No, she's playing her game, and
I gotcha.
I think the wife said something, so she had to squirrel out.
But yeah, but basically what happens is if the machines are specifically designed this way so that they have to call the technician.
Yeah, that makes sense. Kind of like certain. Like cars and stuff like that, where they have to have certain parts and certain everything.
And they're only because they're only allowed. That's the reason that they're only allowed to have this one machine in there. Now McDonald's sued somebody because they went out, or I don't think they ended up suing them. There was probably a cease and desist, but there was this company that hacked the machine. It was a little thing you put into it, plug into the side of it, and it would tell the people with certainty what was wrong with the machine, so the people at the store could quickly get that problem resolved in most cases, because it's usually like I said, something silly like the hopper's too full or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, so a lot of times that's the problem. That was the problem, is like they put too much ice cream in. So this company stopped that from happening by getting this machine. And then one of the franchise guys got up in front of at one of their big franchisee meetings. The franchise owners go to these, like, I think quarterly or yearly meetings. I think it's a yearly like get together. It's like the Comic-Con of McDonald's franchise owners. They all get together, they share their successes, what's going well for them, what has worked, what hasn't, things like that. He got up on stage in front of all these guys and brought this up. Told these guys, hey, I've been using this thing and it's helped exceedingly. My ice cream sales are through the roof now. It's because I've gotten past this having to call the service technician all the time. So instead of my machine being down for days to a week, it's now down for maybe an hour or two, or 4 hours at most, when I have to redo my heat cycle. So he brings that up to them. They immediately send out a thing that says that's what it was. Sorry, I misremembered it. They sent out a letter to all of the franchise owners, basically scaring them into not using this hack thing, saying that it could damage the machine, and it would void their warranty on it and their contract and all this stuff, because they're under contract with McDonald's to use this one machine for a reason. They're under that because their because now they've guaranteed Taylor all this service, and Taylor's guaranteed them this machine at a certain price. So it's like the one company, one large company looking after another. So now there's a bigger company that now owns Taylor. They sold their business to this bigger conglomerate. Now this bigger conglomerate started making the same hack item available. Now that this other company has made it, now this company here that's underneath the same umbrella as the larger corporation that owns Taylor is now has another company separate. They made a separate LLC that's making virtually the same thing that smaller company was making, so that they can sell it to the McDonald's franchises. It's crazy how deep this whole thing goes.
To make the money, man.
How I mean, I understand that Taylor doesn't want to lose that 25% business. You know what I mean? That's a huge chunk of money for them to basically send somebody out, tinker around, have their own little magic book that nobody else has, and fix the machine and then be done. But apparently the new hack thing and the new update to the machines puts in new codes that, again, the service technician can only read. So, no matter what, these people are screwed, and instead of being able to, service their own machines, they're going to be, beholden to, to this Taylor's company because they've signed up with McDonald's.
Yeah, that's what the contract states, man. That's the unfortunate part.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
It's silly, but
there's more to the story.
But
yeah, I mean that's the basic understanding that I caught from it. But yeah, it was nuts, man. It's crazy to think, because I remember looking back and going, yeah, you know what, our machine was always having problems. We would have the technician out to ours once every few months. We'd have a technician out. I mean, there's some places that would have it out they'd have a technician out there every couple of weeks because it's just, nobody would tell them what was wrong with it. The technician isn't going to be like, hey, this is what was wrong. He's going to be like, well, I fixed it. It's all set. You're all set. No, it's a lot of technical mumbo jumbo. You're good. It's just, it's such a dick move.
It is, but it's
you think you'd want your.
But on the other side of the spectrum, it's a genius. That's true.
Yeah, it's diabolically genius. Fucking twirl your mustache genius. Fucking God, man. Just that's the kind of world we live in, folks. Just so you're aware. People wonder why I'm so cynical and don't trust big corporations.
Well, proof's in the pudding, my friend.
That's right there. One of the reasons.
I seen Ty said something about taking a shower and then he'd be jumping on here, but I'm probably gonna go eat.
Okay.
So I'm probably gonna. And if there's anything else you want to talk about today, now's a great chance.
I think I'm good.
I think we had a lot of great conversation.
Hell yeah.
I'm excited to play Rocket League tonight because I'm working second shift tomorrow. So.
Nice. I'm gonna put some of those other things that I had on my list.
Facebook.
Yeah, I'll put them on the Facebook page and kind of let people just have them pick one out. Maybe do one of those, dislike.
I believe on the pages. I believe you should be able to make a poll.
Oh yeah, all right, that'll work.
And if not, I'm sure it'd be easy to find one. How to put one on there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
sweet.
I'm excited. Makes me wish that I had ice cream. Don't
go to McDonald's. Go to Wendy's. Yeah. Their machine is not set up to fail.
That's correct. But yeah, man, I'm excited. It's just been a great week, man. It's 80 out there today. I'm sitting here. I'm like, wow, I'm sweating.
I know. I got the window open.
Because I got to close this thing down so you don't hear the dogs and the kid and the wife talking all the time. It just blocks it a little bit. But, man, it sure does get pretty warm in here. It's awesome. But, yeah, man, so stay happy. Stay healthy. Don't be afraid to live your best life. Yeah, deuces.
We'll catch you in the next one, folks.